Hello and welcome back to another Mythos Monday coming at you from the Magic and Mythos channel. Sorry for the super long wait in between videos, but here we are. Life tends to get ahead of us, but I'm back. Today we will be starting with Asgard. We are doing the Norse mythology A to Z, so obviously Asgard is an A. This is one of the most popular and well-known bits of the Nine Worlds. Asgard lies at the far side of Bifrost, the Rainbow Bridge. Security is very tight. You won't get in unless you're a dead hero on the way to Valhalla via the tradesman entrance. The halls of Asgard have been built to withstand the onslaught of giants, and for extra security, the exact geography of this place is closely guarded secret. Although brochures of the warrior's paradise Valhalla are readily available, what goes on in Thrundheim and the remaining halls is out of bounds. The gods seem to do most of their carousing at their local club, a banqueting hall called Glassheim. They are often to be found hanging out at the Well of Erd to catch up with the latest gossip from the three Norns as they sit in the shade of Yggdrasil. There are another 6 regions floating and somewhere. Even the most ancient legends contradict each other on this subject. We could guess that after enough beers, it all makes sense. Here we have Aesir, the god of the sea. As with all sea gods, he is worshipped and feared by sailors. It always pays to respect watery gods, especially Aesir, as he has a fondness for dragging ships and men down to his halls. But as he is well known for his wonderful parties, it could just be his way of avoiding gatecrashers. He is married to sea goddess Ran, and the sea froth is caused by his underwater brewery. Next we have the Aesir. This is the Norse top gods. This includes Odin, Thor, Loki, etc. They rule the world from the heavenly Asgard. They must never be let loose in a marathon. The Vanir were their mortal enemies, or should that be immortal enemies? However, after wars and trickery and exciting tales, the two families of gods were more or less reconciled. Now we have Alfheim, the land of the light elves. Alfheim is that bit of the 9 worlds where the Alfar live. These are the light elves who provide so much light entertainment for Norse mythology. Next we have Amleth, the original Prince of Denmark. Alas, poor Hamlet. Amleth is the original version of Shakespeare's hero. The exciting tale of Amleth is as borrowed by Shakespeare goes back to at least the 12th century and possibly further to a lost Icelandic saga. There is an obscure theory that suggests he is also in charge of the world's mill where cosmological ingredients are warped and wefted. Unless that lost saga turns up with all the juicy details, we will remain skeptical. Now we have Amma. She is the grandmother of the Churls. She and her husband, Afe, were paid a visit by Heimdall while he was in brig mode. Being a friendly old couple, they kindly allowed him to share their bed for the night. Fast forward 9 months, and Amma unexpectedly gave birth to a bouncing baby godlet. "Oh, he looks just like Affy," everyone explained, except for the glowing red face and dazzling razor-sharp eyes. Anyway, the proud parents named him Carl, and he grew into a fine, strapping farmer who married a lovely girl named Snore. Their descendants were the Charles, the working-class freemen of the time. And Herrimner, man, that's a mouthful. He is the god of cooking, with a very limited set menu. He's an Azer chef with only one house special. He takes the cosmic boar, he kills it, he cooks it, the gods eat it. It returns to life in the night, ready for use in the next set meal. It's a real pig of a life for the boar. A little variety in the kitchen would work wonders. Andvari, a dwarf with a magical ring. He lived in an underground palace absolutely stuffed with fabulous treasure. Gold, jewels, magical objects, you name it. He was pretty much the wealthiest dwarf in the universe, but he hadn't reckoned with Loki, who seized it along with a great deal of treasure as payoff for a murder he'd committed. Andvari was just had time to curse the ring so it would bring death to all who owned it. Loki, being much too wily to be caught by a trick like that, didn't touch it, and the ring went straight to Regan and Fafnir as a ransom for the deaths for their brother Odin. There's more than a passing reference to Andvari in Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, but Wagner completely cribbed him for the Ring of the Nibelungs, where he was forced to sing lustily under the name of Alberich, with lots of Rhine maidens and large Teutonic operatic folk wearing funny costumes and helmets with rings on. Angrboda, Loki's giant mistress. She is one of the Jotun of Jotunheim, evil giants opposed to the gods. Naturally, Loki found her irresistible. She became his mistress, and together they produced a monster brood, including Fenrir, Jormungand, and Hel. Ask. The first couple made from dead trees. Ask and Embla were two uprooted trees lying on a seashore. Ask was an ash and Embla was an elm. Along came Odin, Vil, and Vi, sauntering around on an inspection tour and checking the world they'd recently created. "Hey," said Odin, "look at these. We could make them into moving things." "What, like us?" said Vili. "Vaguely similar," said Odin. "Anyway, I'm going to bring them back to life without roots." "In that case," said Vili, "I will give them the ability to think and be emotional." "Well," said Vi, "I'll chip in with motion, sight, and hearing," and it was done. The two trees walked off hand in twig, the very first man and woman. This is why we have families. Astrild, god of poetic license. If Cupid ever took a vacation in Norway, this is what he'd be called. But in fact, Astrild, the Norse love god, is just a poetic invention by romantic poets of the 17th century. Those pesky poets have a lot to answer for. Surely, Norse mythology has quite enough going on without inventing more of it. To be honest, a Norse god of love wouldn't get much of a look in with all the fighting and sagas going on. Adumla, the primordial cow goddess of ice cream. Adumla is a giant cow who emerged from the ice in Niflheim at the creation of the world. She saved Ymir, the first of the frost giants, from starving to death with supplies of fresh ice cream from her chilled treats. We're not sure what flavor, but it was probably Valhalla vanilla. Or Vandal, obscure demi-god with claims to literary stardom. He pops up in several places as a heroic figure and even gets a mention in the original Hamlet story as the Prince of Denmark's father. One legend tells how he is journeying across the frozen wastes with Thor. When they came to crossing the icy Elivagar River, Thor offered to carry Arvandil on his back in a basket, but one of his toes stuck out and the basket through a hole, and the toe froze solid. Thor snapped it off and flung it into the sky, where it remains to this day as a cold, shining star. You can see it for yourself if you know where to look. Nobody is quite sure, but it's probably either Alcor, the Plough Big Dipper, or Rigel in the constellation of Orion. We have it on good authority that Arvandel was inspired by the ancient Arendelle, who was also the inspiration for Tolkien's Arendelle. Somehow, Tolkien's legend seems a bit more classy than the broken toe version. Thanks for watching! Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content! Join me again next Monday for another Mythos Monday. Thanks again!